The foot position for a frontside 180 is about like this. You want to keep your front foot pretty close to the bolts. If it starts to get too far back, you won't be able to land and pivot if you have to, and you'll have trouble keeping your weight centered the way it should be. So do it about right here to start off with. You can try to make your own adjustments from there. Back foot should be on this half of the tail. So about right here should be fine. If you have trouble with the full spin, then you could try it, like that. Alright, so the thing about spinning tricks in general is that you have to have your body spinning before the board gets off the ground. So you start like this, you wind up your shoulders, and you start to unwind, and when you're facing forward, that's when you actually pop the tail. So you face forward, you pop, and you want to scoop the tail out some. The difference between this and a plain ollie, there's not much difference in the technique, but the feel of it is quite a bit different. You want to make sure that the wheels get up off the ground and the tail slides some. If the board is landing behind you, it might be that you're not popping that hard and the wheels are still touching when you start to spin. So when you start to spin, the board just pivots, and you keep going this way and the board just turns around. So that's something to keep an eye out for. When you pop the tail, you want to slide your front foot just like an ollie, and you want to try to keep your weight forward. It'll feel like it's forward if you're centered even, because you start on the tail, but you want to shift your weight forward, slide your foot until it's up somewhat on the nose. You don't need to land up here, but just somewhere like that should be fine. And you come around and you can try to pivot some at the end. It's good to try to learn with a slight pivot just to get you used to the feeling of that. If you try to land like this, you won't be able to adjust any. You'll land, and if you're slightly this way, you can't kick turn, you can't turn at all. If you're fakey, you have to just turn back around. So it helps to keep your weight on the nose. It's a lot easier to land that way. And that's the hardest part about this trick, is to keep your weight forward. I learned them switch not too long ago, and the thing I would do is when I'd pop the tail, I would sort of jump backwards, because if I didn't, I would go forward, but the board wouldn't. So I was it felt like I was doing it on a ramp, like I was going up and sort of popping and jumping back. And it felt that way, but it doesn't really work that way. So try that if you have to. You go up and you sort of jump back to make sure you land on the nose. So just keep trying that. I filmed ones that should look like they did when I first learned them. I didn't do them high or super clean or fast or anything like that. I was just trying to make them look as much like yours will when you first learn them. I'm not trying to impress you with how good I am at 180s. I'm just trying to do the best I can to teach them. So check those out, study them, and keep practicing. Try to learn this one when you're actually rolling. Don't learn this one stationary, because what happens is you'll learn something that's halfway between a half cab and a forward 180. And when you try to take that rolling, you'll have to completely relearn it anyway. So learn this one rolling, take your time, and have fun with them.